Let me begin in Idaho with some shocking surveillance video of Bryan Kohberger. It's video that has been under wraps for almost 3 years. It is early afternoon, November 13th, 2022. You will probably remember that was a Sunday, and an ordinary college town in Idaho was just waking up to a nightmare.
In November 2022, the small college town of Moscow, Idaho, was shaken by a tragedy that captured national attention. The man arrested and later convicted for these crimes was Bryan Kohberger, a former PhD student in criminology at Washington State University. Kohberger's academic journey was marked by a deep interest in criminal justice. He earned a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's in criminal justice before pursuing a PhD in criminology. His studies focused on criminal behavior, and he even worked as a teaching assistant. But despite his academic credentials, Kohberger's personal life told a different story. He was reportedly socially isolated, had difficulty maintaining friendships, and was described by some peers as controlling and condescending. When investigators seized his phone, they uncovered something chilling. Hundreds of selfies, described by authorities as bizarre and unsettling. Most were shirtless mirror shots, often taken late at night. But what stood out most were the more than 2,000 searches he had made about the Idaho murders, his victims, and even his own name as news coverage spread. Prosecutors later revealed he had returned to the crime scene at least a dozen times before the murders, his phone data placing him near the victim's house. These disturbing digital breadcrumbs painted a picture of obsession and arrogance. Psychologists have since debated what could have driven Kohberger. Some suggest his criminology background gave him a sense of superiority, as if he could outsmart law enforcement by studying their methods. Others argue his behavior showed traits of narcissism and psychopathy, lack of empathy, obsessive thinking, and an intense need for control. Former acquaintances described him as awkward, quick to anger, and desperate to be noticed. Even before his arrest, there were red flags. At Washington State University, students had filed complaints about his harsh grading and condescending attitude as a teaching assistant. Some classmates recalled how he dominated conversations, often steering them toward crime and murder. Others described him as a loner, disconnected, and unsettling to be around. Kohberger's phone data revealed that in the months leading up to the murders, he had repeatedly driven past the victim's home late at night. Investigators believe he stalked them for weeks, carefully watching their routines. This wasn't impulsive, it was deliberate. Experts argue this behavior shows a fixation, a compulsion that grew stronger the more he lurked in the shadows. Experts who've studied the case warn that Kohberger may fit the mold of someone fascinated not just with crime, but with the power of committing it. They argue that his crimes were not just acts of violence, but an attempt to live out the very criminal behavior he had spent years researching. In his mind, it may have been the ultimate experiment, to test whether he could commit the perfect crime. The case of Bryan Kohberger is more than just a story of tragedy. It's a chilling reminder that the darkest minds can sometimes hide in plain sight. Even in classrooms and lecture halls, for the victims, justice may provide some closure. But for the rest of us, the haunting question remains. How many warning signs went unnoticed, and how many more are out there waiting to be seen? If you want more deep dives into chilling true crime cases, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thank you for watching.